I got to shut the phone off because all the cocksuckers that didn't call me back today will decide to call me back now. So
right as it starts.
Yeah, you don't hear from them for 2 weeks, and today's the day they decide to. I swear to God, this is the way it always is. It used to be that if I had to catch a flight, as soon as I got in the car, I got an audition. I mean, as I was putting my luggage in the car, I could feel my phone jiggling. I get in there, I talk to the Uber driver, what country you're from, did you escape? Did you come in through Mexico, whatever the fuck it was.
You got the audition as you're getting in the Uber to the
You get the audition as you get into the Uber, not this week. This week I sat here like a fucking bump on a log all day Monday. And as my buddy calls me, he goes, I'm 10 minutes away, the phone starts ringing. I mean, it was like 6 calls in a row. Hey, thinking about you. You couldn't think about me last Friday at 2 o'clock. You're thinking about me now at fucking, 6 o'clock at night. You thought about me on a fucking Monday. Ain't I special?
I feel like you'd almost rather they not call than call right.
I'm on a mission from Satan, and now you want to fucking call. I'm trying to get to the airport. I'm going to make sure my sleep apnea mask. I got my reefer. I got rolling papers. I got lighters. I got itch cream. There's a lot to consider. And once you get in the car, you're like, fuck, I forgot my fucking charger.
How pissed would you be if you forgot weed? Did you ever forget? I feel like you never forgot weed.
One time I did a Lee in Boston.
What does that mean?
This had to be 2006. I'm in Boston with Joe, Eddie, Ari, Duncan. And I had this weed that I unleashed on them in LA, and they were calling it Dum Dum weed. It was straight gangster shit. You just had the sudden urge to order 18 pizzas and take a nap. This shit was strong. And it was green, and it was fucking beautiful. Me being the jerk off and show off at that time, we get to Boston, we're waiting for the rental car. I can't wait. I got to roll a joint. I roll a joint, I get in the fucking car, I get to the hotel room. I left the weed sitting out on the ledge.
At the rental car place?
Right at Avis. So if anybody came, they found a bag of fucking goodies. Now I had to smoke shit from fucking some dishwasher in the back that smelled like soaps and fucking God knows what else.
I'm surprised you didn't go back to Avis.
Listen, you got to be an idiot. What are you going to do? Somebody's going to turn it in and I get a reward. So what's something? Listen, any fucking, I'm not even going to say nothing because you'll say anybody who picked that. Anyway, it was gone, all right? If that thing wasn't gone 10 minutes later, then we got no real fucking thing going on in this world.
Right. They would find that.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of good weed. Jake came to one of my shows and brought some weed from Washington. Okay. It was really good. It was. I think they grew it outside. It was some of the best smelling weed I've had in a while. It was great.
It's that Chinese weed. I'm telling you, you're gonna lose an eyeball. Don't fuck with that shit. It's out there, but you got to ask the guy at the counter, is this Chinese weed? Watch him fucking lose his mind.
I would love to ask him that. Is China growing weed?
Like Szechuan pork. You're having a good time,
smoking,
and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you got the Havana syndrome. You know what I'm saying? People are shooting you in the ears, your whole body shakes. So before we go any further, how was your little comedy trip to Nashville and Vegas?
Dude, this was probably top 3 of my back to back. It was 11 days of just straight comedy. I did 16 shows. No, 17 shows from Wednesday to
Sunday.
The following Sunday. So it was 10 or 11 days. I did 17 shows. I did open mics. And what I was most proud of is I dealt with a heckler and I dealt with it okay. There was room for improvement, but I was able to adjust and not remake my set, but I basically cut out and redid half of my set because of figuring out what they might want in that kind of a room. And I had some really awesome sets towards the end of the week. It was awesome. It was
laundry, or did your asshole beg your undies to fucking get me out of this predicament? Your asshole's probably I don't need a COVID mask that smells like that.
No, my asshole, dude, I ate some
Oh yeah, you're
The
right,
guy was
man.
opening. Oh no, I didn't get to eat. They didn't have, which is probably good. I'd probably be shitting blood right now, as you say. But I didn't have like the employee lunch. They didn't have that. So
They didn't give you a card for any meals for free. No.
no.
Vegas is getting cold blooded, dog.
Oh, but it was fun. It was cool. Nick Guerra was the guy I was headlining for, which
Great
is
kid,
a great.
solid, great kid, having great success in LA, good looking. I don't know what the fuck these agents are waiting for. Nick Guerra could have been a fucking go-go dancer on Telemundo or, an NBC, but, the guy's out there, but he'll find his niche. Like most of those guys, they work hard.
Yeah.
Nick is no fucking pushover. He works really hard, man. I knew Nick since Texas.
Yeah. And he came up in Dallas. So it was just cool to get to talk to him all week and hear his point of view as like a headliner. And like, we just talk comedy, and he liked to go eat. So he took me to a bunch of his favorite spots around Vegas.
What non-comics will never understand is that I could talk to you for 10 hours about comedy. We could and we've done it. We've done it 4 hours after the podcast ended, smoking dope, snorting ketamine, It's really insane how when you get 2-3 comics together, listen, for me, everybody always spoke about the hang in the green room and shit. I always like the pink dot sandwich.
Right.
We spoke about it this weekend when I went down to Austin. Eleanor was there, Steve Simone was there, and Joe was there. And we were talking about the old school store. When about 1:15, our job was to walk the pink dot before it closed at 2.
Got it.
And we'd each get a turkey sandwich or a meatball hero. And that chit chat, I'll never ever forget. And I bet that's the way you feel right now. Like those little chit chats till 2 a.m. about this comedy club owner, this guy, how'd you send this guy a tape? This is the real learning experience. This is when you really bump up in when you're around. You'll see the difference of open micers feeling bad and, being angry at people for being a little better than them or for getting a gig as a co-MC. And then fucking, you go to another place where it's a different attitude now. It's really, it's the things that most people won't understand. If I talk to Led Zeppelin, they would go, listen, the parties were great, the orgies were great, but the true hang was after we got off stage when we told people for 30 minutes we didn't want to be bothered.
Right, where they're just going over there. I would imagine it's the same for all of them. And it was cool at the LA Comedy Club because there was a 6 o'clock show, 8 o'clock show, and 10 o'clock show. So I met all of the cool comics on the 6 o'clock. Even one of the guys who is on the 6 o'clock show was doing open mics with me at the Fourth Wall. And he has a 7-day-a-week gig at the Strat opening the 6 o'clock show. Brett Ernst and Butch Bradley were doing the 10 o'clock shows at like the late ones. And I got to it was the hang. It was like getting to like hear from their point of view, how they viewed comedy. And then I watched not every minute of it, but I watched all of those guys do their shows and how they approach things. And like Brett I noticed like he sat down a lot of his sets. So I would watch that and how he would when he would stand up, like what if he was trying to get some emotion out of people or something.
Brett's a pro.
Brett's great. Yeah. Brett was so funny.
It's these guys now finding their groove. And I'm sitting back here loving it because I remember where these guys were up at 1:15 in the morning and we would talk in the back and they didn't know when Mitzi was going to see him again. And it's such a fucking in the moment struggle. You're in the moment and you go minute to minute. You don't know how you're going to feel. That's why I never really liked talking shit around comedians. I got a spot at the Improv at 10:40. Yeah, you're just making other guys feel bad.
Right.
This is supposed to be a community. And I don't know, there's something like improving. Listen, this goes back to the old adage, Lee. And I'm really proud of you for this. I'm really proud of Eric. It takes a lot of pride to not get a job as a doorman, security guard. You know, when I got into comedy, I knew it was like anything else. I got a job. I took the comedy class like in December. And from January to May, I shut my mouth, Lee. And I carried buckets of ice. And I fucking put on stupid music and had to move the lights around. And I had to load the beer case. But the whole time I had an ear open, you know. And the most important thing was, since I did the music for the comics, it was a C room.
Okay.
You know, since I did the music for them and the lights and the explosives, I got to talk to them. And then when I got the broker, I finally got on stage in July and I got the broker like in December. And when I got the broker, if the comic was really cool, there was a gap in their schedule. So Tuesday night you did the broker, then Wednesday you were off. That sucks when you're on the road.
Because you have to pay for a hotel?
You pay for the hotel. So if the headliner was cool, I'd invite him over, sleep over. And then in the morning, we'd talk comedy, or at night, we'd talk comedy. And they would give me a list of bookers, even though I wasn't ready. And I knew it. They would give me a bunch of shit to prepare me. And I looked at names that were there that now that are probably still there today, you know, then today. So it's such a fucking journey.
And it's cool. Like the way I was thinking about it with Nick was like, it's almost like you're on like let's say you're on like the Oregon Trail or something, and you meet someone who is already somewhere like way down the road, and they're like, look out, there's snakes here. And like getting to talk to Brett and Ernst and Brett and Nick and all those people, they would talk about like, here's what you look for when you're trying to sign with a manager. This is what the manager's supposed to do from his point of view. Here's what you're supposed to do when you're reaching out. And like, they were just giving me like, at least what worked for them. And it might not work for me, but like just their point of view of things.
Listen, what works for you ain't going to work for them, and what works for them isn't going to work for you. But there's something in between.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you seem to attack.
And
something
even
in between that your mind and his mind could put something together a little bit better than your idea, because he's been at it. And, you know, again, our egos are like, no, I have a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, listen, what's the difference between a 5-year comic and a 15-year comic? If I go to a 5-year comic and go, listen, I want to buy the story of your life, but I'm not going to use you as a lead. Okay? He'll throw a fit. Where a 15-year comic will go, I don't care who the fuck you use as a lead. Just throw me a check. Use me every week. Keep me off the road for 10 episodes, and I'm in. You know, it's really weird what we'll do 5 years in, 10 years in, 15 years in, and 20 years in.
It sounds like it's an ego thing.
Always. Once you let ego get in the way of comedy, you're done. You lost that week. Once you you're featuring and you're like, people told me I'm better than the headliner. Meanwhile, he's up there getting standing ovations.
Right.
And you're in the back because 8 people told you you're better than the fucking headliner. So you're sitting back there like, yeah, let me see how I can fucking corner this guy. You go up there one night and you plan everything, lighting your toes on fire, giving your A material. You're going to steal jokes, the whole fucking thing. And you go up there and you think you buried him. And this guy comes out with another set and a different wig and a different fucking pair of sandals or whatever the fuck he's doing. And it's always very interesting. I fucking hate when shit got. And listen, I'm smart enough to know even then, like I knew a comic that came to me one day and he's like, fuck Ralphie May, blah, blah. And I'm looking at him like, what? And he's like, yeah, when I work with him, people tell me I'm funnier than he is, blah, blah, blah. I don't know where that motherfucker is today.
And like because I'm not like above admitting there are times I've done shows where I'm like, oh, I'm better than this guy. But then like, especially with headliners who are like really seasoned, I'm like, oh, this is his 6th hour that he's written. The jokes that I'm doing are all my jokes that I've written for my entire career. So
listen, the first special is always easy. It's like the first album. It's dynamite. You've had your whole career to work on it.
Right.
Second one is a motherfucker. I went like 0-4. I got 4 bad fucking specials and CDs. But listen, that's the fucking how you learn. You don't learn by doing everything great. You can't be great at everything. And once you know your strengths and your weaknesses, you stay away from your weaknesses, but you work on them. But you're not going to do a guy come tape you on your weaknesses.
No. And it's like, have you improved your weaknesses, do you think? Like, do you think it seems like that's something you would do, is like try to purposely go after them.
First off, how do you improve your weaknesses if you're not honest with yourself? If you don't go home and go, that sucked dick. If you're going to teach, if I bump into you 6 days, 6 nights in a row in a pizza parlor at 2 a.m, and you tell me how you killed, we have a problem. I've had good weeks, but there's sets that I went to Austin last week. I did 6 sets. I was probably 3-3. Were the other 3 that bad? 2 of them were. But listen, I was just trying new shit. I didn't give a fuck. I had a purpose to go up there. I had a purpose, to go up there. I wanted them to go one way so I could take them the other and see what else was there, I planned that going up there. I don't give a fuck. At any level, I never gave a fuck. I always had a mission to go up there, do a good job, try some new material as a feature act, and hang out by the door and get a gram of coke. I always had my priorities were in the right fucking place. There was never, and when I got coked up, if I was by myself, what do you think, I'd be watching porn? I don't watch porn. I would work on my comedy all coked up. I'd wake up the next morning, the material was worse than what I had written. But, dog, this is what it is. It's a journey. It's not where you start. It's where the fuck you finish and how you finish.
Do you think on that, like, were your sets better towards the end of the week than they were at the beginning, or was it like a mismatch?
It was kind of hit and miss, and I'll tell you what, because this is why I checked on you Thursday night. Because by Thursday night, after you've worked 2 weeks and you've gotten there on Monday, you want to stab yourself in the eye with a pencil. You can't write. You can't write fast enough. You're sick of saying this material. You just said it in Nashville. Right. And now you're doing another 8 days of it, which Vegas is, 14 shows. If it's old Vegas, 2 shows a night, Sunday through. It's a great way to improve. Yeah. What a great way to improve. But I don't give a fuck how much you love comedy. By Friday morning, when you get on the elevator and you're like, what the fuck? You got to walk a mile to get a cup of coffee, and then ding, 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 ding. And who's not in there still drunk from the night before? Yeah. Hey, man, I went to your show last night. You sucked. And you're like, oh, okay. That's what I need.
People say that to you?
Dog, they say, they're fucking inebriated at 8 a.m. You're walking around trying to find a pool or another gram of blow or a victim, and they'll just come, man, I was at your show last night. You were funny in the, and you're like, stop it, go lose. What are you about? I'm not your lucky fucking token.
I was almost late to my flight today because for some reason, talk about being short. For some reason, women love whenever they see me, they stand right, like they have to measure themselves again. So this woman was hammered at 3 a.m, still up, and like wouldn't let me leave.
Where?
In Vegas this morning.
At the club or at the casino?
Casino, yeah. At the casino.
Oh, yeah. You're lucky you didn't get kidnapped at 3 a.m, my friend. I woke up one night to catch one of those Southwest flights. Yeah. It was one of those Rogan weekends. I don't know where they put us up. It was somewhere we had been put up for years, and it was fantastic. And this one night I went down there at 5 a.m. I'm like, ooh, Lordy. You had some fucking kidnappers. You had everything down there. Hookers, pimps, transgender fucking hookers.
Jesus. Yeah, they were there this weekend.
They were out. And I'm like, man, this lobby is usually pretty fucking cool.
But it was, that was it was interesting to be in Vegas for that long because I saw like this one dude basically stole a joint from me. He was like a homeless dude just screaming, And he's like, "Hey man, I was at county today," and he showed me he had marker on his hand. I don't know if they like write on you when you're at county. And I just had a joint in my hand, and I just gave, and like I was not, that was the only time I was scared. But there was a bunch of weird shit that happened.
After COVID, it seems like everything went down a level.
Uh-huh.
Like if you stayed in a hotel where there was no commotions in Vegas off the strip, now you're going to hear, fuck you, give me back my money, I'll stab you, whatever. I mean, now it's crazy how much everything has changed in 4 years and what you have to see now. Like a friend of mine went to Seattle, one of my neighbors, and he came back. He goes, that was terrible. They tell you not to fucking go downtown.
Jesus. You can't, because of all the people down there now. You can't. They say not to go at all.
Go to Fisherman's Market, Fisherman's whatever it is.
Wharf, yeah.
No, Wharf is in San Francisco. Cocksucker.
Oh, sorry. I'm
almost
sorry.
made that mistake myself.
But it was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just I wouldn't go to Portland now if I'm a comic down there. There's a different way of thinking. Or Seattle. I'm not allowed in Seattle, but there's a lot of fucking places that you're like, if I go there, do I need fucking 10 people as security? I don't ever want to get security.
No.
No, that's embarrassing for a guy like me. To walk in there with 3 gorillas and make believe I'm something I'm not. Stop.
You wouldn't. Stop. What about just getting like some jiu-jitsu guys who are like normal size?
When you would bring people like that, people look at you a certain way. And then, I don't know, there's always somebody who's going to challenge you. There's always a motherfucker that when they got 3 beers in them, they're going to go, I'm going to go talk to fucking Lee. I want to talk to him. And then you bounce, then your security, listen, Lee's not talking to people right now. He's in the back with one of his freaks. We don't care, man. We paid $300 for his ticket and we want to fucking go right now. And next thing you know, you have an escalation. Have I seen it? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, I've seen it. In Las Vegas, I've seen it in LA, and it's not good. And whether you have security or not, man, it's just, I'd rather not have security and walk in there like a human being.
Right.
And it puts people off just seeing you being normal.
What do you mean to put them on?
They look at you and go, dog, this guy, I thought he'd walk in here with 3 gorillas and a guy throwing nunchucks in the air. He walked in here with his fucking daughter and his wife.
Right.
That gives you a different feel.
Do you think, like, because I had something happen today at the airport that I kind of got upset. I got there, dude. It was 3:30 in the morning, and there was a 20-minute wait just to like check into the kiosks, and then there was, like, TSA had a super long line, and I yelled at someone today. You know me, I don't yell at anybody, and I didn't really yell, but this dude was cutting the line at TSA. Like we were all going around the lines like you're supposed to, and he was too good for that and took the whatever it's called up, like the line, and just kind of cut in front of us. Says, hey man, there's a line.
So you yelled at some dude?
So yeah, I was like, hey man, there's a line. And he didn't like it. He's like, what's the big deal? Like we were going back and forth, and like some of his family was there, and they were like, oh, he's my husband. And it was, and I normally don't say anything. Like I take shit from people. I've had someone steal a spot
for
me.
The regular line today?
I had to. There's no pre-check.
What about clear?
That they didn't have shit. That they, I don't know if it was because it was Southwest.
First class?
No, they didn't have shit. And I was on Southwest. There's no first class.
Right now, you go through first class, and when they stop you, you're not first class. What, you're stopping a Jewish man? Or you went Palestinian? People did it for 30 years. It's time for the Jews to do it. Everybody else, Do
you ever do you worry about getting into fights in public places or like?
No, my mind is on just, listen, there's some people who are going to say shit. You're going to be the best person you could be. You're going to stop. You're going to shake their hand. And I got to be honest with you. In 20-something, 30 years of flying, let's go 25 as a comic flying.
Mm-hmm.
I got into one beef in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Vegas is a little weird People lose money. They're at the
Mhm.
fucking airport. They got to go home and tell their wife now that the conference, they bumped into a fucking stranger and he took his wallet. You know, I know what a person's got to tell their wife.
Mhm.
It was a Sunday morning. It was fucking bright and early. I'm high. I'm not even thinking about trouble. And it was like 4 people on the line. There was no reason to act like a jerk off.
Right.
And I put my stuff, and I have the sleep apnea machine.
Mhm.
I was taking it out. I'm always quick. I do this every fucking week, twice a week. So I'm quick. As the line was moving, some guy came, pushed my stuff back, and put his stuff in. And looked straight ahead, like at the guard. And I go, excuse me? And the guard was like, what was that about? He goes, I got no time for wait for these sleep apnea people. And the guy goes, no, he was right there. You just cut him off. And I didn't say nothing. And he goes, if you expect me to apologize, don't. And I go, go fuck yourself. And he that was the end of it. And he just froze. It was 5 a.m. Nobody is ever going to tell you to go fuck yourself that early. And when you hear it, it kind of fucks up. You're at the airport. And that was it. And I shut up for fucking the first 5 minutes. And finally, as I went through, he was dying to say something.
Wow.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. The fuck is wrong with you? It's 5:15 in the morning, and you already want to be a fucking hard-on? Like, really? And you sit there and I remember one time I went to Boston.
Okay.
And I just had knee surgery. It had to be 2013, 2012. And we got to go do radio. And we get to this radio station, and the security guard's like, the power's off. The power went off overnight. Remember that? With the escalator?
Vaguely, I remember because that was right when I met you. Yeah.
I was a gentleman. I go, listen, guys, not for nothing. I just had surgery 2 weeks ago. I can't go up no fucking stairs. And the guy's like, well, you have a choice. And I was like, pardon my French, brother? I'll fucking leave right now. I'm not going up that. And he's like, well, we're not driving you back. Watch this. I went right to the receptionist. I go, get me a cab. And he kept yelling at me, you're not leaving. You're not. Watch me. I got in the cab and went home. As soon as I got to the hotel, my agent called. What happened? I told him, you and I both know I had surgery. I get here and the fucking escalator. I mean, this guy wanted to fist fight me. And
that's wild.
I'm here to pick up an envelope. I'm not looking to make war with nobody. This is a business. I'm not looking here to make fucking war with nobody. So that's why I kind of didn't want to fly during COVID. All this shit, remember for like 3 years, people getting in fist fights, people yelling on planes. The last thing you need is to be sitting there, some guy hits you with water, and you have to get up and throw a punch at him. Now somebody's got a camera, and now it's a fucking nightmare because you tried to defend yourself, but in today's America, you're not allowed to do that.
No.
Only Mike Tyson. Only Mike Tyson that time on the flight. And that guy's suing him now. And that guy's trying to sue him now.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope they don't let him win because that was, if you don't know that story, it was like a guy was like, a kid was like drunk and like kind of like taunting Mike Tyson. And Mike allegedly there were some things thrown and you just saw the kid with like a fucked up face. It was awesome. I was so happy for Mike. That was like, because that kid was just being a dick.
It never ends, and you just have so much patience with people. And, thank God my people are an alcohol base.
No.
People that come to the show, because I would shoot myself. A lot of them just come up and give you that fucking glazed look, like, hey, man. And you're like, okay, here we go. Fucking Jerry Garcia and his assistant. And it's still, I got a laugh out of it,
Right.
The drunk shit when they grab you.
Mm-hmm.
And they breathe that firewater breath in your face. And, they say shit about their wives. Come on, get next to Joey. Joey, grab a tit. Come on, man. They say all that craziness, look at her ass. And you're like, and the girl is fucking embarrassed as fuck. She's like, I just wanted a date with you. I don't need somebody pointing out my tits. And you're like, I'm sorry. You have to apologize. That's the shit that drives me crazy. Listen, I live out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've lived out in the open since I moved here. I mean, we lived out in the open in LA. We were at weed stores and shit every day, restaurants, cryotherapy. It's really weird. About a year after I moved here, somebody pulled me aside one day and they're like, "You're blowing people's mind."
Really?
And I'm
Just
like,
because you were there?
No. They're like, "You're blowing people's mind." And I go, "What did I do now?" And they're like, "No, you didn't do nothing. It's what you don't do." Remember I told you the neighbor used to tell me, "You don't act like a celebrity"?
Yeah.
Well, tell her, "I'm not a fucking celebrity." Well, that's what people expect of you. To walk in, like a girl said to me, "Have you been to this restaurant?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "It's a 3-week whatever, but if you call them, they will definitely give you a knife with your name on it and a fork." And I'm go, "Why would I do that?" She goes, "You wouldn't do that?" I go, "Not in a million fucking years." Am I announcing that I'm going over? I'll put under my wife's name. And when I get there, you throw them the fuck off, or whoever I'm going with's name. I don't believe in that. I don't believe into coming into a softball game with a convertible down, listening to rap music, all that shit. I move in silence. I was a burglar. You have to look at the roots of somebody.
It would be so weird to see you coming in with like a crazy hat on, or like the way that some like
I go to fucking restaurants with sweatpants and a hooded sweatshirt on, and I love the reaction of people. People's reaction. It's like last week in Austin on Wednesday night. I go, "I'm going to fuck with these knuckleheads." I've been doing this since 1980. I've been doing this. I put my sweatshirt on backwards. That gets under people's fucking skin. They all come up to you, "Excuse me, Mr. Diaz, do you know your shirt's on backwards?"
What are you talking? Wait, it's not a hoodie, right? It's just a regular sweatshirt?
I have a certain sweatshirt that I love. I've had it since I was 450. It's already stretched. I look like a 3-pound bologna in a half-pound bag when I first wore it. And over the years, it just stuck around. It's a sweatshirt that's great quality.
Okay.
It's soft now. So now I lost weight again. So now it's going down. So I said, "You know what? I don't know what the temperature is in fucking Austin. It's a light sweatshirt." I go, "Let me wear it. Let me bring it."
Mm-hmm.
I bought a bunch of shirts. I didn't know what the temperature was. And Wednesday night, I go, "Let me wear this blue fucking sweatshirt backwards." If I didn't have 30 people come up to me, I was downstairs talking to a friend of mine. A lady came over. She goes, I was dying to tell you when you were on stage. I didn't know if you knew." I go, "This was planned. That's why you were dying to tell me."
Jesus Christ.
It tortures people. People come up to you, "Excuse me, Joey, your shirt's on backwards. Did you know that?" And I can't tell you who. Everybody.
How did you figure this out? Like, how often do you wear your sweatshirt on backwards?
In 1980, I don't fucking know. I had a fucking shirt that I liked, and one night I wore it out backwards. Honestly, by mistake.
Right.
But the reaction I got was so fucking overwhelming. I had to stick with it. I never felt so bad for people. It's like when I wear pants that I purposely show my ass crack. I'm just setting you up, you fucking dummy. You think anybody would bend over like you with these pants? I know how to do it to fucking just, did you get a hand with that crack? You're like, how old are we now? Get the propeller with the fucking hat. After a while as a comedian, you learn how to listen. For me as a comic, it's not the fucking laughter. It never has been.
What?
It never has been.
So what is it?
It's the look on their face when I open up my mouth. That makes me laugh. So now I can make you laugh.
What look do you like?
I like the look when first of all, I love being wrong, but at the same time, I love being right. So if you're going to pick a woman to pick on or whatever, just say something to a woman. "You look beautiful tonight." I'm looking for her reaction. If she gets wiggles her tits, she's an animal. If she sits there and says, "Thank you," she's all right. but she could be an undercover cocksucker. So you have to push the envelope a little bit just to see if you get a thrill out of her. And then if I hit her with a joke, if I hit the audience with a joke, I'm really focused on her. I'm watching her, even though you guys are seeing me, not watching her at all. And I'm waiting to throw an off-color joke to see her reaction. If her jaw drops, the room is done.
Really?
Yeah, because I'll do a minute on everybody and then I'll bump into her mysteriously, but I already got the 10 minutes going already. I picked on the audience because I'm setting up my arsenal. I'm putting the 45 bullets in. I'm putting the 380s in. I'm like Rambo in the last Rambo. He's putting lights all over the bombs. You're just buying time because the 8 minutes you're going to dig into her are going to be tremendous. You're going to keep riding that joke out. You know, she had one leg. I was eating a pussy, you know, and everything is a tag. And now you get them going one way, and now you just, and she's down there like this. That's
How do you pick her out? Like, do you have like a joke you do at the beginning, or do you do stuff at the beginning to like see who you're going to focus on?
Some guy like you comes in and says, Joey, you're up in 3 minutes.
Okay.
You just got the light, and I'm going to bring you right up. I'll let you enter the room, and right when you hit the door, I'm behind you by like 30 seconds, and I'm watching. And as I get close to that curtain, I give it a little look. You never want to show, you never want to step out there. Don't step out there. But you want to find an angle that you could see. And you're going to nail it. There's 250 people, 300 people. You can nail 5 people, but you got to nail them in the front. Nobody's going to see that chubby guy in the back or the chick with the eye patch on the other side. You got to pick them up front.
Okay.
Like, have you ever gone to, like, this is why I hate comedy judges. And when I say comedy judges, not comedy contest judges. I hate when somebody goes to see Lee and Lee says a joke that's a little on the dark side and he gets tagged a racist. You know, he gets, and these people have never done comedy before. And all of a sudden you got a bad rap because a comedy judge all of a sudden, you know, I don't even know where I was going with this. Those edibles are kicking in, but fuck it, work it.
Because we were talking about you, there's a woman in the crowd when like you.
Right. So you learn. Listen, there's some people that go to a comedy club to tell their wife how much the comics suck. There's a lot of guys who go to a comedy show so their wives tell them how much this guy's a fucking maniacal psychopath, drug addict, you know. And then there's people that go in there with an open mind. There's always people who are going to go to a show and hate, you know. Mm-hmm. And you spot those people. They just don't want to be there. Go home, close your eyes, and think about a time when your mom took you to the synagogue with a bunch of smelly fucking guys with hats on and beards. And what was your thing? You didn't want to fucking be there. Somebody dragged. The psychology of the comic has to think like that some way, even though I don't want you to think like that. I don't ever want you to even think about your set. I don't want you to predetermine your set. I don't want you to look in there and go, Joey, they're all fat people. Joey, they're all old people. Joey, they're all black people and they hate me. I have a black joke. You know, so comedy judges go to a show. All I know is one thing. Lee, and I tell you this with my heart, you were there for 8 of those years. There's some shit that comes out of my mouth, and especially on stage. And for me, I perfected it because it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And at the Comedy Store, I worked a lot of late nights behind Paul Mooney. And there's 8 people in the room, 5 of them are black, 3 of them are fucking white, and they're scared that the black people are going to overtake them in the room. So they've already been manhandled by Paul Mooney. Now I got to go in there. You know what, man? I'm not getting any play from the 3 white guys. So I got to go into the black guy. I've already done material. Paul Mooney's done it. It's 1:15 in the morning. You got to assume whatever stupid joke you wrote last night, somebody did it already. They
Right.
see the same Discovery Channel about the fucking oceans bodying them out. Everybody sees the smuggler get caught from Bolivia. I didn't know it was medicine. Whatever the fuck.
So you go to a different style.
So now you got to dig deep. 5 black guys walk into the room. What are you going to sing? Rock music? No, you got to sing Earth, Wind, and Fire. And you better fucking sing it on key because Maurice White was a bad motherfucker. But what I'm saying to you is you're going to go, what's going on, dog? You're not going to call him a brother because now they know you're faking the funk.
Right.
Dog, what's up? Boom. And he starts talking to you. Then he'll say something to you and you're like, dog, what's up with that fucking shirt? What happened? And if you say something black or something hacky, don't. But if you refer to Marvin Gaye or something that people in the room haven't heard of, just because they haven't heard it, he knows. And right there, when you say that sentence, that this idiot over here thinks it's racist, this black guy jumps up in the air and high fives his friends and go, that's my dog and shit. This guy leaves and says, Joey said something racial.
Right.
It's how you perceive it. It's fucking crazy, man. The education is nonstop. And now you see the backlash of people and saying, and guess what? People want to hear some crazy shit. People are sick and tired. People want to hear crazy shit from the heart. Let me tell you something. I cracked a joke last week that I never thought I was going to crack. And it went so smooth one time. Then it died 2 other times.
Were you trying to recreate what you did the first time? Why do you think it bombed or didn't do well?
I didn't say it right. The first time I said I was more excited about the premise. It was the joke about Orlando with the gay ghost after the shooting at Pulse.
Right.
You go to Orlando, you could go to Disneyland, the gay ghost is tapping on the shoulder. Last time I went out in Orlando, somebody shot me, shit like that. The first time I mixed it with something else that made it very funny. I don't want to give the thing out.
Right, no.
What I wanted to talk about tonight was what I just did.
Okay.
I'm no Jerry Lewis. I'm no Dean Martin. I'm no fucking Bill Burr. I'm no Chappelle. And I know this going in. I never try to do anything. But I want to talk to people about how easy it is, because this is what people don't fucking understand. That whatever they want in life, it's right in front of you. Your fingertips, at the end of your fingertips, whatever you want in your life. If you want a yacht to bring freaks out like Big Diddy and Big and Epstein, and it's not going to work out for you. You saw where that got you. Go for something positive. You want an electrical company. You want a limousine company. And then write a note. How are you going to do it? But everything is fucking possible. What are we talking about?
What you did this week.
Okay, so we came on here in January. I was a little scared, but I knew I had no other alternative. I knew where my life was going. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not that type of person. I got to do something. And we decided on doing stand-up as a hobby, twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
No big deal, no weekends. I'm not going to Madison Square Garden to do that guest set to show people, none of that shit. We're going back to bed basics. Couple restaurants, a strip club, and Uncle Vinny's, just to get my feet fucking wet, and I pretty much hit the goal every week except one. I only got on stage once one week. And was I upset? Sure I was. I was more upset for you guys at home because I told you I was doing 2 sets a week. And then I decided, let's go test the whatever sets. It was past 10 at that point, way past. Why count them? I already hit 10. Now it's time to move on. Let's see where this takes us. We agreed on 10. There was nothing to discuss. There was nothing to fucking discuss. And then this opportunity came. I knew I wanted to go down there. We had discussed me going down there a few times and just doing 15. And I'm going to be as honest as I can with you, brother to brother. I'd rather get on a plane to Austin than drive an hour 15 somewhere. Even though the flight down there is pure hell. It's 4 hours. They throw a curveball at you. You're like getting ready to go. You're scratching your nuts. You're putting fucking, Malukia juice on your neck. And all of a sudden it's like, we're landing in an hour and 35 minutes. What? And that hour is like fucking going to the check.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it was. But I want to get back to what you're talking about because do you think it was like the level of not that there's not good comedy where you were going, but like that's like the hottest club in the world right now. So like, because you were saying like you would rather fly to Austin than drive an hour and 15. I said like, what do you think it was? Because you've been doing comedy at some good places, but the Mothership is probably the hottest club in the world right now.
All right. In 2 sentences for you. You and I both know that we spoke one night and I said to you, I had an opportunity to go somewhere and get on stage. In the last 4 months, Bert's been here, Tom's been here, I could have just gone down there.
Right.
10 minutes in front of 2,300 people. That's not what I was trying to do, Lee. For the first 3 months, I was trying to fall in love with this again. And I did. I fell in love with connect the dots. I've always loved connect the dots. Throwing something out, putting it in your notebook, and 2 weeks later, that's a gem you were looking for because you connected it with this. There's no better feeling than that. Maybe somebody fucking, pouring fucking hot wax on your nutsack. I don't know. I've never been there, but I enjoyed it again. And I could do 15 minutes. Listen, I've been doing comedy for 30 years. Why am I being such a fucking weasel? I could do 15 minutes in my sleep.
Right.
But I wouldn't allow myself. I would start with 6, 7, 8. I just wanted to fall in love with this beautiful fucking art again. I didn't just want to go into the sunset. For me, it was never about playing the Garden. It was never about being on Letterman or the Tonight Show. I knew where I was going to end up. Excuse me. I didn't know I'd end up here. I didn't know that, I would do Ari's fucking storytelling show and people coming up to me crying and shit. I didn't know these things. You always think you're a comic and you end up a storyteller. People are storytellers. You never know where this journey is going to take you. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about?
About why you like going to Austin.
So, number one, listen. I had one of the biggest fucking opportunities in the world. I got a chance to walk into the Comedy Store in my 7th year doing comedy and develop and develop and develop. And there was a lot of fucking eating shit and a lot of nonsense. And would I do it again? Abso-fucking-lutely. But one thing I learned at the end was from 2014 when you were in my life as a regular. And I told you I went to Columbus and ate a bag of shit. I realized that saying is absolutely true. If you want to become metal, whatever, you got to sharpen metal with metal. I still remember going there and eating a bag of dicks after D'Elia. I still had to remember going through, following D'Elia 6 or 7 sets and going, wow, it's a different fucking game. You got to follow somebody and then bring somebody up in front of you. And it took me 3 or 4 months to get the hang. Once I got the hang, now we're full time, and I learned a lot. It's tough to follow Louis C.K. It's tough to follow Bill Burr. It's tough to follow these guys, but it's not going up there and topping them. It's being you. I'd rather you go up there and be you than trying to top me. You knew when you came in the room, he's a better writer than you. He's a better performer, but you know these things. If you're going to let your ego get involved, I'm better than him. My dog, I did a movie with De Niro. Yeah, whatever, you fucking dummy, But if you go up there, and these are the things I learned from 2014 on, Lee, when I was already 15 years in this shit. This is why I say to you, relax, sit tight, smell the roses. You're going to get some lumps, but at the end, it's all fucking worth it. If you pick the right and you play your cards, I seen it. I see Tim Dillon. I saw Shane get fucking blackballed on Saturday Night Live. And all of a sudden, 4 years later, he's back hosting it. Why? Because cream rises to the top. All you got to keep doing is your fucking job. Bah, 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 bah. And you'll see. But if you're just going out to try stupid jokes and to impress your little friends in the back, I said, this is fucking it's too hard. So we were talking about the involvement. I'm so proud of you because you involved yourself in 15 days of comedy camp. That's half a fucking 30 days. Some people go to jail for hitting a clown in a car while they're on a bike or whatever the fuck. You just did 15 days. That's big. I talk shit about you every day over that. When people go, how's Lee doing? I go, Lee's at the fucking whatever in Vegas right now. Come on, what you doing? He's fucking featuring over there. They go, come on. Lee, even Joe said, Joe asked me, how's Lee doing? I go, he's featuring at the whatever. And he goes, thank God you broke up the podcast.
Wow. Yeah. That's cool.
You would have died and you were not better shape. He goes, think about it. Thank God you broke up the podcast because he learned a ton of shit. That's why he's at the Stratosphere this weekend. So that was probably the best part of the trip. When he mentioned that to me, I got my, that fucking shot in my knee.
Oh yeah, like stem cells?
Stem cell. I got this. This is the second one.
Is it helping?
A shout out to Ways to Well. Is it working? The first shot did miracles.
Nice.
And it still wasn't hurting. I just went down to back it up. If you're walking on ice, I'm doing some walking now. You got to walk to the fucking stage. Sometimes you forget, Lee, and I put all my weight on that knee and push myself up.
Oh.
I land, you get this fucking kick in the balls. And sometimes I get on this fucking bum crooked knee, the surgery knee, and I get up there and again, it buckles out of you. So I got to be careful. That's why I don't want to do anywhere big. I can't be walking around the fucking dark back there. The worst thing for me is to fall out of a fucking side curtain. And then, you know me, dog. I just get up and do comedy while I'm talking to Jew attorneys on the hotline.
Oh, I always think I'm going to fall.
I swear to God, there was one club we used to do that you had to walk through a tunnel. Like I was going where they sent Tony Montana when he came from Cuba to that fucking Tentville.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't want to walk through there now. The last thing I want to do is fall in front of fucking, then I'm on TMZ, Chubby Joey fell and shit, I'm not built to be on TMZ. That's why I always avoided those motherfuckers. I was thinking about that the other day. There was two situations with me where I think I laughed the hardest. It was me and Ralphie. God rest his soul. This had to be 90 fucking, no, I'm lying to you guys. Had to be about 2007. I was clean. He was picking me up on Mondays when he got back. And we go to Jerry's Deli in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
And one night we got weed. We stopped at the Improv, and you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. Let's go to Jerry's. We get to Jerry's. He goes, man, it's fucking quiet. We pull up to the valet. As he gets out, two TMZ guys put cameras on him and go, Gabriel, how you doing? And you could hear the I just turned around and ran into the fucking restaurant. And then when he came in, after we got fucking food, I go, Gabriel, how you doing? And fucker, now I'm gonna hear the end of that shit.
Oh, I can't believe, to be honest, that's probably the nicest thing I could imagine you doing is running into, I can't believe you didn't laugh in front of TMZ's face.
No. I'm like an old fucking gangster. I put the fucking thing, unless you're paying me, I put the fucking thing up. I don't want to be around.
Jesus. They called him Gabriel. Were they trying to fuck with him?
No, they were like, the guy just didn't know. Or, looking back now, yeah, he was probably fucking with him. But Ralphie was a asshole of a guy.
Oh, yeah, but that must suck.
You could do that too.
That's so funny. And what was the second laugh?
One night, I was there, but I was not there.
Okay.
And this is a long time ago, Lee. This is, there used to be a place on Beverly, right? After you came down La Brea, you hooked a right, and you went. You know who would know Josh Wolf? He was the king of that place. You went down, it was on a corner, and they had little umbrellas. It was like a 50s joint. and people sat out there. It just closed. I think it closed. But Josh, and they used to they made shakes that would knock your dick into the dirt. Protein, regular shakes, reefer shakes. Not like they put reefer in it. This is way before any of that nonsense.
Right.
The spot, the spin, the something. We'll ask Josh Wolf. And the cool thing in those days was I was broke as hell. But the good thing to do is after the store, you'd go down there at 2:00. And there'd be different people eating, And I'd gone with Josh and his family, and I'd gone, I think, with Joe Rogan and a bunch of other people one night after the club on Sunset we used to do. The guy took us there to eat, a bunch of us. Had like umbrellas and shit. I don't fucking know. It was good, though. And then one night, I went to a Janet Jackson concert. Now, it was 1998. I got no money to go to a Janet Jackson concert. I got to do it at the store. But my spot was at 11:00, 11:30 at the store, and the Janet Jackson concert started at 7:30. I was friends with Dougie Fresh. I'm over at Doug Stanhope's house in the afternoon talking shit with him, and these girls moved in next door. And they were the fucking best. They were like, they hung out at Coaching Horses. They'd smoke dope. They were a lot younger than I. If I was 38 at the time, they were like 27, 28, whatever. And one night, one of the girls, they were roommates. They had gotten Janet Jackson tickets. And the one girl couldn't go. She had to work as a waitress or some shit. So the girl came over and asked Stanhope. Stan was like, what, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, bro, I'll go see Janet Jackson. And that's the night I told you we were broke, and she had great tickets, and Jimmy Smith was getting beers for our corner. I was dead broke, Lee. If I had $5, I was holding on to it like a blind guy holds on to a cane. This motherfucker ain't going nowhere, right? And I guess I went to the store, did my set. I couldn't borrow $20. And we ended up going to that place. And we sat down about 2:30. We were out in the back smoking dope. This is way before my wife. Me and this girl had nothing. She was just, she was Stanhope's neighbor.
Right.
She smoked dope. I smoked dope. There was no blow that night. There was no money for blow. And we went to that milkshake place to get like a milkshake because we were stoned. And I want to tell you his name, but I don't.
Okay.
And celeb came in there, somebody who was hot at that time on TV, like on Buffy the Vampire. At the time, I was doing stand-up, guys.
So you knew he was famous, but you didn't know from what?
Yes, I didn't. The girl, and everybody was like, oh, look who it is. And I was like, I don't know who this guy is. I'd love to tell you I'm friends with him and go take a fucking, and go give him a hug. Oh, my God. I haven't seen you since the gym, And next thing you know, TMZ comes running out from like behind a car. And the one guy said something, again, Lee, had a couple numbers in me. At that time, I didn't drink, but it was 2:30 in the morning. I'm tired. I was just focusing on the milkshake. She was going to give me a ride to where I was staying with the girl I was dating at the time. And that was going to be the end of the night. And this guy comes over. And I mean, as he walks, all the girls like, look who it is. And he's from this, he's from this. And all of a sudden, TMZ came out.
Right.
I shouldn't say TMZ. It was 1998. It could have been anybody.
Paparazzi.
They started lurking. And this guy came out, and another guy came out. And the first guy was doing pretty good. They were talking about his TV show, his workout regimen. And then the fucking other guy said to him, are you still doing blow? And this guy turned around, one shot, bro. Boom. Camera hit. I thought, you forget all the stupidity I saw in the beginning. And he went down, and we paid for the milkshakes and left. She told everybody about what had happened. I had 2 sets at the Comedy Store that night. I forgot what the fuck it was. And it's because of that, and then I had a beef with them up in, no, they weren't TMZ either. Remember that fucking place in Studio City on Sunday? where all the fucking
Marine
people
C.
had tamales and shit next to the Five.
Oh, the farmers market.
Yes, they used to lurk in there. They used to hide by the Five Guys, not the Five Guys, where you Five Brothers, where you buy skis and shit. There was a little fucking. They had tamales in there, and it was always a great place. But they weren't messing with me. They were messing with somebody else. And as I was walking to the car, he said something to me, and I had my wife in mercy. I just kept walking. He said something about big pussy.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to answer to that. And that was it. But beside that, when I saw that guy get knocked out, I'm like, and then I didn't see it again for 6, 8 years later when the guy's like, Fluffy. And I'm like, oh no. You could hear the fracture. He had the gold chains on that night, the rings like Elvis. He busted out. The guy going to go, Ralphie May. The guy goes, Fluffy, and fucking Ralphie. And you can't stop laughing at that. You just can't.
Especially you. That's why I was shocked that you ran inside. I love, like, you, like, that's like someone giving you a gift.
Not really.
No, you don't think so?
No. Listen, at that time, I had done the longest yard. In my mind, for me, nothing happened, so fuck it, right? I don't want this guy to see me. I already had enough problems. Now, when I was with Ralphie, I was always clean. I was only high around Ralph. Ralphie came to me one day. I appreciate if you don't do that shit around me. And that was it. That was like 1997. He caught me in the bathroom one night.
Wow. No, and like, I know you don't want to embarrass Ralphie, but just between like you and him, if there hadn't been a camera there, like that's something you would have laughed about for probably 3 hours.
Look, I laughed about it for 10 years. I still think of, I still think of shit, but again, that wouldn't have been introduced to me if it wasn't part of that journey. Because at one time, I remember like he was flat broke. And you asked Josh Wolf. I was living with Josh.
Okay.
All right. And that's the day that I was in the pool with the kids and the neighbors and what happened to Josh Wolf's brothers. And Josh yells down, where's the fucking whatever? And Joey, where's the whatever? I forget what he was looking for. And I yell up, look in the drawer. And I spelt it wrong.
Okay.
DREW. It was like 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Nobody had money. We had just chipped in for like toast, whatever. And we're all out there, like 11 of us by the pool. Like,
that's broke if you're chipping in for toast.
I was eating Josh Wolf food. Not embarrassed to say this shit. This was what it was, man. And when I scored, I gave Josh a 40. Right. We always were working together. This is part of that deal that people never understand. And we had to get ready because Ralphie had a barbecue. Now, in 98, Ralphie wasn't rolling in fucking dough. But I never forget that people brought meat over. And at one point, Ralphie looked at Josh and he goes, hold on one second. I'll never forget this. And he turned around, he goes, bring this home for your kids. And it was candy, not fucking shitty candy from the dollar store. It was candy, Ralph candy. And that night, Josh goes, Ralphie's the type of guy, he had no money, but he still remembered to get my kids candies. That's something special. And I remember sleeping on Josh's, I got to talk to Josh Wolf because we got to write a sitcom on that building. I was thinking about it on the fucking plane. I was even making notes on the computer. I'm like, wow. We were so stupid. That building had everything.
Is that the building where you lit the homeless guy on fire by accident? His blanket?
No, this is
a different blanket.
This is around the corner, Vista.
Okay.
It was on Vista. On the corner was Charlie Chan Printing. And across the street was the Guitar Center. Oh my God.
On Sunset.
And then where I used to buy weed in those days was on Cumston.
Right.
Okay. So one day I went to Cumston and I had, I don't know, 20, 37. I had $57. And I had it all planned out, right? This is like, guys, when $57 was $57, all right? I stop at Cumston, I get a 20. That leaves me with $37. Or maybe I had started the day with 37. That's what it was. I started the day with 37. I went to the weed dealer. He wasn't home. So I said, fuck it. If he's not home, I might as well go eat some Chinese. The place across the street from Rock and Roll Ralph's, they used to have a laundromat and a Chinese place. The Chinese place is probably still there. When we got there, the Chinese place was banging. They had the complete lunch special, you know, the soda, soup, egg roll, entree, white rice, the thing, the ice cream, the fucking massage, $5.99. And we were there every fucking day for lunch.
Yeah.
Ricky, happy birthday to Ricky Cruz. Ricky, fucking Ralphie, you know, it was just a tray of us would go there for lunch. Whoever was in town, John, fucking this guy, that guy, 8 of us would torture this poor Chinese lady. Then we got then we started making money. We went to the all-you-can-eat sushi place with Helen. But before that, we used to go to the Chinese place.
With Helen.
Helen was the Japanese lady.
Right. No, see, we used to go to the Chinese
lady
place.
was Chinese pokey. She looked like our friend Stacy Pokey, but she was only Chinese. Really cute, glasses, the whole thing. She would torture us and shit.
That's what you need in the sitcom. That's a sitcom.
So what, brother?
So that's what you need in the sitcom. Just that like all you guys going to the Chinese place. That's crazy.
There was a time in '98 where I would wake up in a radius.
Of what? Of the building?
Okay, I could have either been across the street from on Sunset. This is where you found me. I've never come clean with this, but this is where Uncle Joey learned the shit in those days. If I was legit to quit, I'd end up at Ralphie's on the floor with our friend Jody and John. If Ralphie, for some fucking reason, wasn't around, I'd end up in one of the apartments in that building. At that time, there was maybe 2 other people who had apartments in that building. If you didn't end up there, you ended up at Josh Wolf's. But at that time, let's forget about Gardner yet. Gardner had not been into place. It was Sierra Bonita, all those streets, right? From like where Rock and Roll Ralph was. I could end up on Vista in like 3 apartments. The chick with no chin, Josh Wolf, or his brother.
The chick with no chin. Go on, I'm sorry.
All right, so, and in that building there was Reefer, a white Jewish guy with a big Jewish star, sold weed, and he was hooked up with a black girl.
Of course.
He spoke with a Jamaican accent. Yeah.
A white Jewish Jamaican.
And he hid his weed in the garage. So you know we were tapping that ass, right?
Oh.
We were night, clipping an ounce, a half ounce, and he would blame it on his girlfriend, right? You stole my weed, man. Yeah. She would go, no, I didn't, you Jew bastard. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Rastafarian Jew. So that was one building. Then you had the chick with no chin. You had the fucking 2 call girls. You had the 2 heroin girls that were fucking great girls. But they smelled like shit because they wouldn't take showers. They wouldn't wash their paws. Oh, it was a fucking TV show. There was another girl who was very sweet. She spoke a weird language. We all used to talk to her, really cute. And one day, one of the guys pulls me over and he goes, hey, when you go home tonight, watch this movie. He wrote it down. He goes, it's on Cinemax. And like 2 weeks later, I'm in some hotel and boom, it's this neighbor, like completely naked on all 4s with fucking Eric Roberts. Tremendous. It was a crazy ass fucking building. But if I didn't end up there, I would end up at the hotel. but it didn't matter. I always tried to stay past the gas station. So on the way up to Josh's, I could stop in the gas station, steal a pack of cigarettes. Oh my God, it was like automatic. And I timed it. Every time the little guy went outside to pump gas, I would zoom in there. And he'd go, hey, what's happening? Nothing. Let me go inside and get something to drink. I'd have like $1. I'd put my hand up. I'd have like Cools, a pack of Parliaments, then voila, Marlboro Lights or Camel Lights. Oh.
You were torturing that. How long were you living like this?
And then I would go up the corner. If I was really hungry and I had no money, I would go to Josh Wolf's. If I had money, I would go to the Sunset Grill. That's way before you came. That was when it was the original Sunset Grill with the guy with the platform foot, and he had like a little stump up, and he would make the burgers, and it was fucking tremendous. And then something happened there. The guy died, and then they redid it, and then there were egg and cheese sandwiches.
Nice.
And I would go in there, and all the East Coast dudes would be in there. The guy from Buffy, the good-looking guy that's still on fucking TV. He's from Philly. So we had that. We had El Compadre. We had Charlie Chan. I had a tab with him.
And what year did you have a tab?
1997. Trust me. It was tough talking to a Chinese guy to give you a tab. It was 10 cents a copy, 25 cents for a copy of Headshot. You know, then he would lend me the staples. I would sit there and staple them and shit and fucking torture him.
How much were you printing that you needed a tab?
And the guy's name was like Mike, but I did not care. I call him Charlie Chan. That's the name on the fucking door. It's Charlie Chan. Charlie Chan, just like the fuck.
Was he Asian?
No, he was Puerto Rican. Yeah, he was Chinese. The guy was Chinese. He was very businesslike, uptight. And I would go in there and go, where's Charlie Chan? And he would come over. My name is Mike. Okay, listen, Mike. Let's not get off. Like a week later, every Monday I was in there because I had to make copies for the agents. I was working a scam with the agents because every week somebody would get a headshot. One Monday would be my theatrical agent, and one Monday would be my commercial agent. And I would do that every week. I would do those copies he opened at 9. I was in there at 9:01, already tortured. Where's Charlie Chan?
For the 100th, how long are you doing this to these people? Charlie, my name is Mike.
What's that?
I just love that my name is Mike for the 600th time. My name is Mike.
And I would, yes, no that. I'd be in there a week later. Charlie Chan, what's cracking today? My name not Charlie Chan, it's Mike. Okay.
Okay.
It was see, this is the shit I forgot. Like, I got to write a book about this shit. And then I started waking up at the hotel. The guy that owned the comedy club in Florida sold it. And he showed up in Hollywood with like $400,000 cash. And every night he'd go to the store with an ounce of Coke. And fucking every night they ended up at that hotel right across from the Sunset Inn, whatever, ratty little hotel. Then I got the commercial and I had a little Diaz now. I moved up into the world. So there was a hotel. This is very interesting. There was a hotel on Schrader.
Okay.
It later became the hostel.
Oh, okay.
But that hotel was a hotel where you're only allowed to stay in there for 3 weeks. And then they would transfer you to where the pizza place was up there, next to the other laundromat. And then once you did 3 weeks up there, you couldn't be there as a certain residence. So when me and the girl broke up, I would go in there and stay for a week and then go on the road and then come back and then stay there for 3 days and go on the road. Brother, you don't know what life is till you wake up in that part of town at that time. That was the old Hollywood. And I would come out of there. There was fucking people yelling in that hotel room. There'd be people hanging out in the hallway. It was real, Jack.
Did you have a car or no? You didn't have a car at this point?
It depended what day it was.
How could it possibly depend?
Because you always bump into a car who's not leaving town for 2 weeks because they're going to Miami to do comedy. And here I am doing 90 around town getting tickets. They come back.
You did not get tickets under other people's cars, did you?
Come on, man. In those days, when you get to LA, the first thing about LA or any city you move into, how they welcome you is with parking tickets. They confuse you. They confuse you. Get out there every morning with your robe. What is the meaning of this? And they're like, it's from 9 to 11. And you're like, okay, I won't have it out here. And then the next day you come out there at 8:45 and they got your car already hooked up. Then a week later, again, you get another ticket. Now you got to go down there and take the car. And it's just, when I got to LA, I was, my motto was, you buy them, I smash them. That was like my brother, my fucking RIP brother's fucking motto. So it was, Doug Stanhope had a car, but it was great. You could use it, air conditioning. There was only one problem. The gauge didn't work. So you didn't know whether the car was full or empty. Sometimes you got in that motherfucker and you just had to pray till you got to the gas station. And again, I wasn't Johnny Deep Pockets. I would start there with a food stamp, whatever I could hustle up the night before. Times were tough.
And how long did it take until you had like a legit apartment? Was it with your wife that you got your first apartment?
6 months before that. Can you believe that?
How long was that?
If I would have just held off 6 more months.
You would have saved $3,000.
I met my wife in July of 2000. I agreed to pay rent at my friend's house. When I got there, he didn't have a room for me. He had a couch.
Oh.
And if I felt a little double-crossed, whatever. Listen, I lived there. Some months he took rent. Some months he didn't. It was a crazy time for everybody. You got to remember, that year opened up with me not being in LA. I didn't spend New Year's in LA that year. I was in El Paso. No. Yes. No. Yes, I was in El Paso until Y2K. That next July is when I met my wife.
And how long had you been living like between these apartments and hotels?
At this time?
Yeah. Like when did that start? 97?
2 years. When I first got there, I moved with a girl. We had an apartment.
Right.
We were there for a year and then we broke up. And then she moved to the other part of town. I stayed with Josh Wolf and I went on the road. I could tell you I slept at the Comedy Store. I don't know. But I was there at 9:01 to take a shower.
And I don't know if you're going to even be able to answer this, but those 3 years of comedy, were they like the most important? Like I just imagine you accomplished a lot in those 3 years.
Those 3 years of comedy made me figure out LA. They were very important because I went to LA, a feature act that had taken 6th in the Seattle comedy competition. That didn't mean shit, but it meant 6 meant the world to me, which I sold it as the world. So when I started making calls down there and putting tapes together at the time, whatever, and headshots, that's what I was selling. I'm here based on that. I had a couple comic friends, so they helped me out in this, Doug, there was a ton of them that worded up for me at the Improv, at the Laugh Factory. I had gone to LA once to do a showcase for the Latino Laugh Factory, and I met Marilyn Martinez and Gabriel, the other one, Gilbert Esquivel, who was always one of my fucking angels in my corner, him and Rudy and those guys. So it was finding myself. Ralphie May, living in an apartment, sleeping on his floor. But guess what? We got there at 2:15 and we drank Bloody Marys and joked around and we lit Ralphie's hair on fire and shit. But regardless of who was there was always a notebook out.
Really?
There was always 3 notebooks out. Okay? And let me tell you something else that people seem to forget. In those walls, where was he, Jay Moore, and Jay Moore's partner, good kid, his name slips my mind, created Last Comic Standing. And the Jay Moore sports show before that. in that Ralphie May apartment. So I don't give a fuck what anybody tells you. I'll get Jay Moore on one of these podcasts and he'll tell you in that Ralphie kitchen is where they created more sports. And from there, in that kitchen, smoking dope, whatever they were doing, drinking the fucking water I would put in the vodka bottle, they would fucking, that's what
Great last comic standing.
You check your fucking historians on that, my friend.
That's a crazy, like, sacrifice for 3 years.
For who?
I mean, look, maybe not, but to me, to like not have an apartment, to not have, like, you know,
it forced your hand. Guess what? If I know I'm going to do an 8-ball Tuesday and I'm running out of money on Thursday, guess what I'm doing all day today?
What?
I'm booking a Thursday somewhere. I don't care if I got to roller skate to the gate. I'm making calls. And guess what? Thursday becomes a Friday. And then the guy from fucking Sacramento calls you and says, bro, I got a Saturday in the theater. It only pays $500. $500, that's another week at fucking the hotel. And there you go. You just survived another week in 3 days. There was always planning the weekend. And, you know, do I want to do this? Well, guess what? I'm going to be out of town anyway. I could pack up my little suitcase, leave it at Lee's house, give him a fucking eighth of weed, and go do my gig. I come back Tuesday, the luggage is going to be there. And I got money to go back into the hotel. So there was always an angle. That's what you figured out. How bad did you want to do comedy? And how good did you want to get at comedy? That was part of the fucking angle.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And it's like, it's cool. That's crazy to think now that you're fucking... Do you feel like you're back at that level? Again, obviously, I know you're better, but like, because you're kind of starting over, like a little bit from scratch.
I'm at no level right now. I'm not having any expectations. I'm doing 15 minutes, and that's holding my breath and fucking slowing down my material. You know, I'm old man jiu-jitsu. I'm piling myself on top of you so I can breathe a little bit better. But that's you know, I still remember like the first of the month being like on Wednesday.
Okay.
And you coming to me on like Sunday saying to me, hey man, next Friday, I need one of those 8 balls for $250. Now, I already had the weekend booked on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I was driving to fucking some hell gig in, I'll never forget where I was going, like Arizona. I had a casino. You did comedy under a tent. I didn't want to ever remember it. You know what I'm saying? I think somebody gave me a Rohypnol when I was there, because all I remember is going there and coming back. But in all seriousness, on fucking Wednesday, I would call you up and go, look, that 8-ball you want, they want fucking 2.25 today. Drop the money off. You drop the money off, I'll tell you I'm going to call you that night. I pay the rent and I leave town. And I fucking go to the club, get an advance, bring the money back. I call him Sunday and go, did you get my text? Did you get my message? No, I didn't. What are you talking about? Dog, the 8-ball's been sitting here. I left it for you in the apartment. Come over and get it. And he would go, oh my God, I thought you beat me. No, I had to go up to fucking... So you play the stall game the same way you do with creditors and fucking your bills at the beginning of the month.
Right.
That was it, guys. That was it for a guy like me. I sold cigars on the phone. I sold appointments on the phone. I fucking was a telemarketer at the Comedy Store with 3 other people that I remember their names and the guy who ran the room. That's how serious I took that time in my life. And I did all these things to be involved.
What do you mean by involved?
You're just not mind fucking yourself no more. You're doing it. Even if it's at the tiniest level. This is what you want. This is the game I provide for you. If you want to do stand-up comedy, Lee, I can't fucking, if you call me up and go, Joey, you know, you're going to Austin, you know, and the rumor is, there's no rumor. I'm going to Austin. Once a month till it turns 100 degrees. There's no room for fat people in Austin after fucking June. I'll let you know my next date depending on the fucking weather, monsoon season. If the pipes break, a month. Once the summer hits, I'm not going in 100-degree weather. I've already been through that sacrifice. I don't wish that on anybody. But if you called me, and said to me, I go like, I can't, I'm not doing that anymore, Lee. And you're like, but I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, I have an idea for you. You told me the Funny Bone won't hire you. You told me fucking Poughkeepsie Comedy Club won't hire you. You told me the Chain won't hire you. This guy won't hire you. The only person who hires you is this room in Connecticut that almost went out of business. So I tell you what, I don't know nothing about it, but I know a lot of good comics that are on a shit. That's how you test people. And they'll go, Joey, that's not a bad idea. Lee, it's 8 sets a week. If you do it for 3 months at $3,000 a week, not only are you going to get better, but you got a little money, and then you come back and get an apartment.
So you wouldn't look down on that?
Excuse me?
You wouldn't look down on that? Like if they did cruise ships for a few months?
Who the fuck am I to look down on how you do your path?
Okay.
I just don't take no pictures of it. Make sure no big-time bookers see that you're playing a ukulele.
Don't put it on my resume that I played the ships. Okay.
Nobody could judge you. I'm just teasing.
Oh, I don't care.
Nobody could really judge you at this game, as long as you're doing it. The people that judge you aren't doing it.
Right.
They're sitting at home waiting for a handout. So fuck them. I'm sorry to go over on you guys tonight. It was just good to see Lee. I'm very proud of you, dog.
Thank you. I mean a lot, buddy.
Trenches, no fucking, nobody roofied you. Nobody took you into a room and did bad things to you.
No, everyone was awesome to me. It was a great. It was
small 20 that you could sit on their lap and tell them the story of when the Jews fought the Romans and they held them off for 10 years.
That's a good story.
It's a long story. You can work a small 25 into 2,000 on a college education for later.
I don't want to sit on someone's lap for that long.
Listen, nobody does, but every once in a while,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do this. Sometimes you gotta sit on his lap and rub the back of his head. You're looking mighty handsome tonight. Is that little cream gray you're putting in your head, dude? You fucking buzz it.
Thank God I never. Oh, can you imagine?
I asked you a couple of times, you want to go up to the room? We could play bingo. No, listen. No, the type of guy that plays bingo. I'll sit on your lap with a small 10 G's for 15 minutes. Then I got to go do what I got to do. You want me to call somebody else in? I got to cover. And he'll do whatever you want, but you got to give me another 10 G commission because I know where the body's at. You know what I'm saying? If he disappears, I don't know nothing. For the extra 15, if he disappears, listen, I don't know nothing. His parents live in fucking England. Nobody knows nothing.
I bet a lot of people go for that extra 15.
Oh, please. If you had $200 million, you went to Vegas and you were fucking, savage of savages, what wouldn't you do? You read these stories.
It's Vegas, and it was awesome, and I love it, but Vegas is a very strange place.
Vegas is, listen, I don't care what happens anywhere else. If you come to me and tell me something happened to you in Kentucky, you got that luck. I could see a chick just taking you home and whipping you and sitting on you and making you yell in Yiddish. You know what I'm saying?
I could see that happening too.
Yes. No, you can't. But anyway, when you go to Vegas, bro, all bets are off. Listen, I used to fucking get lit. I got no shame to say this. The time I went with Rogan the first time to the Riviera as a feature for the Late Show, I did not get lit and I did not snort coke. It was 20-something years ago, guys. I'm telling you right now. And then the second time I went to that casino where the kid stabbed me with the sword, and I had it by Thursday. Every time I got on the fucking elevator, some different person would stab me on the sword, or it'd be a bunch of fucking, just not my style. But, it was one of those places that I heard things about when I was younger from real people, and I always minded my P's and Q's. I never let people in my room, none of that stuff.
No.
But I used to have a drug dealer who delivered to your door. Nobody knew nothing. He knocked on your door. No matter what hotel you were laying at, he would call you and say, call the front, tell him fucking I'm coming up. All right, boom, boom, boom. And he would leave it. He'd leave you the extra sleep package for the extra $35. That I did. And even that, when I got into a deep situation, I would go in the bathroom and make believe I was in the shower and fucking hide all the lights so the cameras wouldn't get me. Well, I did a couple bumps and tried to bang one out, you know what I'm saying, before the DEA broke into my room.
Oh, no. You hear shit in a Vegas hotel. They're loud.
Growing up, I heard two things. I was like, you know what? And I would tell people, when you go to Vegas, remember.
Yeah.
They're watching you. And forget about, oh, well, Joey, the technology. Listen, they're watching. They're protecting a fucking $100 million, $200 million property. You're just going to get some 8 Joe Schmoes to walk in here. They're watching. They spend half of that fucking dough on security. They're always watching in Las Vegas.
Everywhere.
Except when Tupac got shot. There wasn't a motherfucker around. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you next week, brother. Where are you this week?
This week I'm home. April 13th is the next one at the Gramercy Theater with Josh Wolf.
That's next week. You gonna come in early to see Uncle Joey?
I'm coming in on Thursday. Should I come? I can come in earlier.
Come in earlier so you can spend the night, do some edibles. We'll see where your tolerance is at. We'll eat some
not
mushrooms.
where it's supposed to be. I mean, it depends on.
I'll drop you off at Tom's River at the shaman's house for 2 hours. Let them take the spirits away from you before you go to New York and attract new ones. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
I love you, buddy. Shout out. Have a great week. I got nothing this week. I got a couple things, but I don't know where I'm going to end up this week. But I'll be out there banging it. I got some ideas, and I'm excited.
I love it. I'm so happy.
Me too. I'm happy. I'm happy. Good. I know. You're always happy.
This is where my tolerance is, goddammit.
What?
You told me to get high, and then I get high.
I told you to get high. You just don't have to say, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? You say that shit again, I have to drop you off somewhere in a particular neighborhood so they can chase you around.
How long are they going to chase me for? What are you talking about? Oh. Please don't drop me off.
There's reasons why they could chase you. Because while you're in the car getting high with me, I'm going to put a side in your back. Sweet ass for rent. All bidders accepted.
$10,000 for 15 minutes.
Oh, wait, forget it. If I was your man in Vegas, you wouldn't even do nothing. You just go in a room and maybe say, you know what, I'm in the mood for love. And next thing you know, I shoot some tear gas in there and the money would be on the counter. Where's the money on the counter? Hit it. I'm in the mood for love.
But doesn't that mean I'm getting tear gassed every time?
No, we're going to spy. Listen, I know motherfuckers that know motherfuckers, and you know motherfuckers that know motherfuckers. So, remember, you're going to make me say it in public? I'm not going to. Listen,
I apologize.
I'm not call all these basic Jewish people. I'm going to call my Jew in Israel. And then that Jew calls your Jew, and then we get the wheels going.
I'm following you.
You got to make me drop names here.
Never. I'm sorry.
What's the matter with you? Next thing you know, I got to knock on my door, and it's the Jew from over there calling over here, and there's 3 guys already at my door before I wrap up the podcast, and they knock differently.
I apologize for bringing it up.
Yeah, so don't make me get started. So the world is your oyster, cocksucker. Have a great week. Love you.
Love you, buddy.
What's going on, gentlemen? How was your weekend?
Very good. How about you, sir?
Softball is back in full effect, and the edibles are still working. That's all I got to say.
Nice.
It was very nice to go out there, get some sun. Can't smoke no dope. People throw you under the bus. I don't want to smoke dope in front of kids anyway, but I took about fucking 1,500 milligrams about 10 in the morning. By the time I got there,
wow.
Woo, we had to go down to where the Sopranos killed. Whatever, La Cerba. Okay. Pine Barrens. Yeah, Adriana La Cerba. It's so crazy. Like, you see Jersey, there's a complete different part of Jersey that is fucking, everybody had horses in their front yard. I get a little scared. You got to bring the rifle to the front seat, but a lot of Trumpers, And but it's fucking beautiful down there. Really was nice to get out of here. And that's it. That was my weekend. I smoked some dope. I took
How
some
did you make it home?
like I usually do. Fucking get in the car and pray. You know? It's time to play bumper cars.
Jesus Christ.
No, by the time I was driving home, I was a lot better, but I fell asleep at 10:15 last night. I was stoned all fucking day. An edible in the morning fucking keeps the doctor away.
Did it keep you going the whole day, or did you have to take more?
No, I inhaled a couple more when I got home. And then I fucking did something, and then I was fucking tired. I'm like, I gotta get to bed, Jack. We woke up like at 7 for this shit. You gotta be down there at 9. That's an hour 10 drive. People have no idea about my weekends. Like, hey, I didn't see you Saturday night, bitch, because I had to be up at fucking 6:30.
Damn. What do you think about it? Do you like going?
I really do. You know, when you're a young guy and you see somebody watching women's sports, you're like, this fucking guy, he's definitely going to fall out of a tree with a bag of M&Ms and a fucking long rain jacket. And then my father-in-law would always watch girls softball. And I'm like, this ain't right. You know, like this just ain't right. I'm not even going to watch this shit. You know, I feel like I got to wear a cape when I watch it. And then, you know, my daughter started playing and you watch the game, you see the girls get stronger. And you're like, fuck, man, these girls, like yesterday, I was blown away on how good they've gotten since they've started. Like, I know 4 of these fucking girls, you know. They got big, you know, they're hitting now. 3 years ago, they walked around all shy. Now they're hitting the fucking ball. And it's pretty impressive to see. That's it. I don't care whether she's a star. I don't give a fuck. Because I know there's an education. Getting to meet different people and fucking jump up and down with different girls. And that's an education for kids, the same way it was for us.
What do you do when they lose? Is that like, does she handle that well?
Nothing. I don't say nothing. I'm not one of those fucking Pistol Pete type dads. This is fucking fun. This is for kids to get to know each other, get to learn social skills, get to learn what it feels like to win, what it feels like to strike out, what it feels like to get hit by the fucking ball in the back, you know. So it's an education in itself. And I remember being like, I talk to people a lot, you know, my friends I grew up with. And people get confused. Like, I knew these bunch of people when I was in the 7th grade. And they're like, how did you grow up with them? And I go, because CYO basketball. We would all play our games, and then we'd get in the fucking, you know, feet. And we'd walk and go get pizza. We'd walk into a pizza parlor with 20 guys, you know, 10 girls and 10 boys that had nothing bad on their minds. There was no sex. There was no kissing. It was just young kids acting like fucking idiots.
And I didn't hate it, but I was always bad. Like you, Mercy's really good. The last time I saw her, she was making a bunch of hits.
Listen, she ain't Hank Aaron.
Who is?
But she loves it. And like I said, you know, listen, what these parents don't know is your kid is great at softball when they're 10 or 11. And by the time they're 18, they're playing the piano.
Oh, yeah.
And you had all these big dreams about going to Oklahoma. I don't have no big dreams. She's got to have the big dreams, you know.
It is kind of weird. Have you seen there's a little kid, like a little Gronk or something? Like there's people who like at putting the like their 5th graders like to be like the next big like NFL star. Like,
listen, man, when you see what's going on today, the laziness of kids on apps and fucking phones and, you know, it's 70 degrees today. I'm walking around. There ain't a fucking kid out there. Oh,
right, that's true.
It's brutal. It's brutal for fucking kids. So, you know, this is the first time I go to the gym. And that last week, when kids were off, there was 10 kids in there getting trained by a trainer. Not like in there knowing what they were doing. These kids couldn't hit the mitts. They couldn't do dick. And one of the kids was a black belt in Taekwondo, and I'm watching this kid throw punches, and I'm like, this kid's in no danger. He goes to New York City, he's getting beat up by the falafel guy. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever been beat up by the falafel guy?
Nah, when I was growing up, there was no falafels. It was straight up hot dog with mustard, ketchup, or fucking sauerkraut. That was good as it got.
That's it. You didn't go for like the meat over rice? Or like, remember
none of that shit was allowed when I was growing up. There was no people yelling on the street. Remember that night we're going to Sony Hall? There's some guy yelling flounder. He's selling flounder sandwiches. Flounder sandwiches. I mean, who would go in there for a fucking flounder sandwich on 42nd Street? They just caught that flounder and fucking on the Hudson River. It ain't even a flounder. It's whatever, fucking Egyptians hunt. These Hamas, they don't know how to fish. They'll take it out. That's a tuna. All right. It's a tuna. It's next thing you know, it's a fucking shark. It's a jellyfish. They're all sitting there with swollen lips.
Oh no. Yeah, but
I wouldn't eat half that stuff. That stuff was hot dogs.
That's it. No, like you don't go for like the nuts.
You gotta walk 20 blocks. The city, hot dog guys are probably making $100,000 a year because people had to walk to get to them. Now, you're in competition. It's like having a Subway sandwich. I got to duke it out now with Subway, Carolina's sandwiches, hot and spicy. It's not just selling, and they all suck.
Isn't it true? Like they have fake like sour bread umbrellas. Like when you go and it says sour bread, it's probably actually not sour bread.
Oh, you get those for $10 at a flea market. Next thing you know, you eat some kid's tail. It's fucking, No, I don't trust none of those motherfuckers no more. I go to a place right here in Old Bridge, Nicky's Dogs. Ooh, the chili with the potato sticks.
Ooh,
a couple potatoes in that motherfucker. What? But
they
again,
put that on a hot dog?
Yeah, she's not there every day though. She's there like Thursday through Sunday. So if I go to jiu-jitsu Friday and I had a good week, I'll stop in there and get a fucking hot dog, What's the story there, Mongo?
How was your eclipse?
Listen, leave me alone, please.
What, you don't want I brought one for you.
Good. Take them and sell them back to the guy who sold those to you.
You don't want one?
No, I don't want no fucking eclipse. The eclipse is over. I was out there with no shields at all.
Nothing?
Well, looking around, nothing happened. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up like Stevie Wonder with glare. I don't know what happened last.
It was fucking bright here.
Yeah, it was bright here too for a little while. And then, even the cat was like, I'm not sitting out here. Fucking.
People went on vacation for it. Can you believe that?
Oh, yeah. Monday, Tuesday through Wednesday are the busiest days at the airport this week. High travel people. You know what's funny? I'm sitting there going, what if it's a joke and the fucking Russians just bombed that whole line? And you're sitting there going, I should have stayed home and mind my business. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever I see a big conglomeration like that, I ain't going, not even to, there's nothing, before I was watching World News Tonight. We got together to watch. Leave me alone, all right? What country? All those migrants, they're fucking out smuggling people. The Mexicans, they're fucking doing laundry and cutting grass. Black people are working. Well, it's a bunch of white people out there with glasses like, oh, God, this is beautiful, with Birkenstocks. And, I hope they had Mando on because those Eclipse people get stinky as fuck.
Oh, my God.
I used that Mando last week. Whatever old you have, they're fucking gone. That Mando, I stopped itching. I get like dry skin from itching.
Right.
I said to put the Mando on because it would keep the moisture away. Dog, I go to fucking the blue light therapy. I rub that on me. I don't sweat a bead. You know what I'm saying? I'm in there fucking.
How much are you putting on?
I put a stick on every time I go to therapy.
At least you smell good.
Fucking bead. When I come out of there, it's like it's all over. I'm pissing all over myself. By the way, guys, I'm very sorry about the podcast last week. I had to pee like 9 times. I mean, it's scary. And what it was is those Zims.
Really?
I could eat one of those things, maybe 2. But if I'm walking around like some fucking guy in a Brokeback Mountain chewing that shit all day, Oh my God, I got up to pee 2 nights in a row. It was like a 20-minute pee. It would just go. I'm like, I'm going back to bed. Then I'm gonna feed the bed how to get back there and stand like a fucking statue. It's a goddamn nightmare. I threw those things out because I bought like a blue one, like some type of mint, whatever. And I bought some whatever, and it was okay. But I'll tell you what, Lucy, whatever, tastes a lot better than that.
Right.
But I think it swells up my fucking prostate or something. It was not bueno. I had to take the fucking root again, and and now I'm pissing normal again.
Thank God.
That day, like the one day I took last Thursday, I put a Zen in my mouth, 11:15, without thinking. And I went to jiu-jitsu. I thought I was going to have a fucking heart attack in there.
Jeez.
And I had to pee 4 times in an hour. I was like, this is what it is.
Did that happen when you would smoke cigarettes?
No. Just whatever they put in there, there's a bunch of stuff I can't take. There's a bunch of stuff, even if it's like vitamins. Sometimes I'll buy vitamins over 50. Next thing you know, I'm up all night pissing. I'm like, I got to throw this out. $60. They told me I would live till I'm 90. And yeah, I'll live because I'm going to piss myself to death here. That's how I'm going to fucking die. But anyway, it don't matter. How was your week last week? That's what's important to me.
My week was good, but it was the first week in a while where I didn't have any shows.
And then the weather didn't help out because that's what killed me last week.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was fucking, you got 22 inches of snow up there.
Yeah. I left rain early. Yeah.
We got rain Wednesday night that I just went, I go for my little 7 o'clock ride, my little 7:30 ride, just to keep everybody fucking tight. And a friend of mine called. I pulled over to talk to him. Lee, what I saw, like I could see the wind shifting the rain and the fucking trees shaking. And then my truck started shaking. I'm like, you know what? I ain't going out tonight.
Really? It was that bad?
Yeah, it was bad Wednesday. And then Thursday it rained. And then I was like, I'm done. I had plans for Friday, but they got squashed. My daughter had a softball scrimmage. And then that's it. So hopefully I'll go out tomorrow night, Wednesday night. I got little plans, and that's it. I got to stick to them. I got to get ready. I'm in training and shit.
Hell yeah. Speaking of that, did you feel the earthquake this weekend?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Yeah. No, I lived in LA for 23 years. That was bingo time. People running. I saw Priuses taking off. Everybody was scared. All the electric cars and shit.
That's what everyone said. Everyone said they were freaking out, and it wasn't a tiny one, but it was like a 4.
It's funny because I was in the gym.
Okay.
And I was with my buddy training. And as it went down, nobody knew what had happened. And I told him the story about when I moved here, Lee.
Okay.
I got here August 19th, but I didn't move into my house till September 2nd.
Right.
My daughter started school September 4th. It was like we moved in and we were off and running. I was going through hell at the time. I was in a living hell. I brought boxes of edibles with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just could not. The anxiety was killing me from the fucking withdrawing on the Xanax and shit. And my head was just fucked up. We went through 8 years on that corner eating fucking 2,000 milligrams a day. Plus I was moving. It was a big challenge, So after the first week I'm here, I realized that my daughter's going to school and I'm going to bed 2 hours before her.
Wow.
Before she's leaving. Like I was on California time. I wasn't going to bed till 1:30 in California. So I get here, I'm staying up till 5:30, and I'm enjoying it. Like I'm up at night, there's COVID, I don't have to do dick, and I'm popping these fucking hash pills. All right. And I'm going off. By that time I had the Michael Jackson tea brewing. I had the 3 packs of THC tea, and I would put 1,000 milligrams in fucking tar in it, syringe. And then I would put, 1,400 milligrams of ABX in there. It was Michael Jackson tea.
Yeah.
By the time I got finished with it, it wasn't even tea. It was like a fucking silk of oil on the top. It was just amazing. And I would drink it and I would get fucked up. But I didn't know what my reaction would be every night. I didn't know if I was going to pass out. I didn't know if I was going to eat half the kitchen. Some nights, whatever was in that fucking junk would make me stay up and do fucking somersaults down here. And I'm watching TV and I'm smoking dope outside. And I'm like, And then one night we moved in on the 4th and the 2nd.
Okay.
And my sister-in-law died on the 5th.
Damn.
Okay, so we moved here like on a Saturday. Me and my sister-in-law got off the phone on Tuesday. And by the time I went to the Stress Factory and pulled into the garage to do a set with Tim Dillon, my other sister called me and she goes, "Did you hear the news?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Your sister-in-law died, Sherry." And I go, "I just talked to them at 6 o'clock. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night."
Holy shit.
It was a fucking weird week. So I'm sitting down here about a week later, blasted out of my fucking mind. And I'm starving. Let me go upstairs to the kitchen, see if there's any salami and cheese, whatever I was eating those days. And I walk upstairs, Lee, and 1 minute I'm eating, and the next minute, Lee, the kitchen looked like a bomb dropped. Right? There was cheese puffs and fucking white bread and fucking salami on the floor. And I had opened up like a fucking iced tea, and it would leaked. And in the middle of all this, I'm sitting in the fucking kitchen. Lee, you just won't believe this. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting in the kitchen and I'm looking at the light in the living room.
Okay.
It's not a chandelier. It's just like a little light that hangs.
Right.
For some reason, God made me look at that light. And the next thing you know, I heard a fucking rumble, Lee. Like the house was shaking and shit. And I'm like, this has to be a bad dream. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm telling you the story for the first time, the truth. I'm looking at that chandelier shaking, and I'm feeling the cabinets are shaking and the plates and shit.
Okay.
And once it stopped, I just sat there, looked around, and I'm like, I'm not even going to deal with that. I'm going to finish the salami sandwich. I'm going to bed like nothing happened. I'm going to make believe that did not happen because that was an earthquake. And there ain't no fucking way on earth that I just lived in California for 23 years. I'm here for 2 weeks, and there's an earthquake. This is just a bad dream. This is the edibles. This did not happen. And I went to fucking bed, and when I got up that morning, there was a fucking earthquake in Freehold, right where Ken, the Chinese guy is.
Right.
It was right down there, Lee. I woke up the next morning like, what the fuck did I do?
What do you mean? You thought like it was like your fault?
That was God telling me I made a mistake, or I brought an earthquake with me from Cal. I mean, I woke up the next day and that was all on Twitter. You brought a fucking earthquake with you, you fuck.
Holy shit. That's crazy that you think you would blame yourself for that.
I didn't blame myself. I just thought I had the malouk on me. I thought, fucking this was my sign that this was not going to be any bueno and shit.
Holy. And then how does that relate to the one that just happened?
I was telling him the story. And then the woman, that his ex-wife, is also a trainer in the gym. She came out of a different room and she goes, "Did you feel that earthquake?" Right. And that was an earthquake. And I told him the story of what happened to me. He was dying of laughter. Dog, it was so surreal, Lee. It was like the night we were in the office right before we left, and that car came by and yelled our names.
Oh, yeah.
We both looked at each other and were like, it's time to go.
Yeah.
Because we had been there for 8 years. And all of a sudden, the pandemic, nobody's allowed in the street. And somebody actually came to the gate and was yelling for us to come out to get high or whatever the fuck they were saying. And I'm like, it's time to go. So when I got here and I got that earthquake, I'm like, oh, that's a signal, Jack. We better pack our bags up and go back to Cali like fucking LL Cool J.
Jesus. Did you look at it, or it was just like a momentary panic?
It was a what?
Like, did you actually look at moving back, or was it just like a panic for like a second?
No, I didn't fucking look at moving back. I was here 3 weeks. How bad would you look if you fucking came back into town with a U-Haul? We're not doing it. Get the fuck out of here, you know.
Okay. I would imagine, like, Jesus Christ. I didn't know everything went so bad that first week.
It was just like one thing after the other. I wasn't sure I'd made the right move. You know, she was one of the sister-in-laws. She lived 3 hours from me. But I fucking love her to death. She was there when I started comedy. She did everything for me when I came back in 93. And over the years, she would come to my shows and, you know, she made fucking best chicken cutlets you ever had. She had like 3 dishes that were fucking unreal. So I was waiting to come back here to hang with her, and I would go down there on the weekends with her and my brother. I fucking loved her. So that news was brutal. And then 2 days later, I had to drive 3.5 hours to the fucking wake in COVID. And I'm petrified. I got to pee. And I got to walk into these gas stations, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I walk into a funeral parlor, and they're everywhere. And people got masks on. And I was like, this is not happening. I'm going to die. Wow. And I remember staying there for an hour and getting back in the car, and it was another 3.5 hour drive. And I had to keep stopping because I was nervous. I had anxiety from the fucking COVID that I was going to get it in a gas station. It was brutal.
And you don't really drive for anybody. I'm almost surprised you went.
I had to go to this one. This one I had to do. This one there was no getting out of my way out of that one. You know, so I'm happy I went. I made his world. I made my world by going. It gave me peace, and I'm still not at peace with her death. Obviously, I'm still talking about it. I took one of the flowers from on top of her casket, and I still got it. I mean, I was tight with her, Lee, really tight with her. She had been married to my brother since I was 23. 23, 24.
Wow. They stayed married that entire time, and she would come to shows every time you were in town?
Every time I came to town, Jersey, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, New York City, I gave her a fucking edible. In New York, remember when they shut the window, all that shit, they were there.
Right.
They were there, man. So, you know, it kind of was fucked up at first. It happened when I was in a parking garage. You know, that's when they were doing comedy in a tent.
Jesus.
It was just like it was like something out of a Twilight Zone. I'm like, this is not fucking happening. But we live and we learn. We get stronger. We become savages. And we keep slinging dick, cocksucker. What do you got this week? You got any comedy? What do you got?
Oh, yeah. This week I'm doing a big one with Josh Wolf at the Gramercy Theater on April 13th.
Oh?
I'll be there. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's I'm so excited to do all these. Like, I've gotten to do Stony Hall with you, and now I'm doing like another really awesome theater in New York. And New York to me is like the mecca for comedy. And so just to be able to do anytime in New York is awesome.
Crazy as a young comic, what cities you hold.
Yeah.
There's a list that you won't tell nobody where you want to perform, you know, because you don't want people to laugh. You'll never get into the punchline.
Right.
You'll never get into the spellbinders because you're Jewish, you know, whatever.
Right.
They always, so you don't say nothing. You just take the weeks as they go. First place I really wanted to go to, Lee, and I got my wish, was Detroit.
Really? What was it about Detroit?
A buddy of mine was from Detroit, and I really, really liked him. He was one of my saviors in Colorado from 87 to about 95. He was tight with me. He always got me great jobs. He sold me cars at cost, you know, and I just liked him. And I always liked the idea of it was the capital of murder, whatever, the murder capital for a long time. And what really happened was a friend of mine asked me to go to the Bahamas with him to do a cruise, right?
Oh, shit. Okay.
And really good guy. He just reached out to me 2 days ago to check in. This is 1995. Me and him, February of 95, I'm supposed to meet him in Florida somewhere to get on this ship. And we weren't doing on a ship. We were doing in the Bahamas.
Oh, like a resort at the Bahamas?
Right. And I was really nervous because he called me and said you had to be spotless. That if you slipped, they would come take you off the stage. And by the time you got to the end of the stage, your room was packed and they had a helicopter for you to drive to take you to the mainland. And sometimes they would press charges on you. This is 1995. And I'm a little sweating it. And about, a week before the gig, he calls me from a hospital in Florida. His gallbladder blew up, something. And he had to cancel that week.
Motherfucker.
Right? And I'm like, damn. But again, I knew I was going to get taken off that island. There was no way. I was definitely going to get pulled off that island. I didn't know if it was the first night or the third night. So when he got back, he felt really guilty. And he goes, do you have a resume? My resume? And I had his resume because I used it. I would always open up for him. So people would say, send the resume, and I would have one of his and whatever. Plus, I would look at his resume and fucking dream. He was the HBO Comic of the Year in 1985. And, had a couple specials and shit. And he goes, pick a club. And I saw this club in Detroit, Michigan. I go, that one. And he goes, I'll call you back. And he called me back and he goes, call the guy. He's waiting for you to call. Joey's Comedy Club.
And were you headlining or featuring?
I was featuring in Dearborn, Michigan.
Jesus.
And I drove, and the weekend changed my life. I learned how to feature really well. I got 3 more weeks offered to me, and I met a girl that I ended up staying with until 1999 or something. It was the weirdest weekend ever.
That's a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, I drove back, and then she came to Boulder and hung out with me for a few weeks. Then she went back to Michigan to get her stuff. Then she came back to Boulder. We went camping, and then she went to Seattle, and I met her like 2 weeks later.
Damn. All because of this one weekend.
Yeah. All because of Detroit.
And you just kind of picked it at random?
Yeah. Listen, I always wanted to go to New York, but what was I going to prove in New York? I already knew the rules in 94 and 95. People would tell me, if you go to New York, you're not going to get a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Every set is free. So you got to cover yourself and get rides. And I'm like, and then I really wanted to do Vegas, but there was something about the insignia of the Seattle Comedy Club at the time, the Underground, that just seemed cool to me. The name, the Underground, seemed cool. The insignia. Now, did I ever think I'd end up in Seattle? No. But that's the way it went. That's just the way life was going at that time. There was no plan. It was, kumbaya. 1 minute you're in Idaho. The next minute you're doing a one-man show. Not a one-man show, but you're doing a show in Wyoming. The next thing you know, I'm in Michigan.
But then, when did the switch change? Because, you and I were talking today, and you have a plan for everything now.
But then I've always had a plan. This is your fucking career. You're not going to get nowhere running like rampant, okay? You're not going to get nowhere running rampant. It's great to be that in the beginning until you really find out what's going on and how the system works. And you don't even know how it works at that point. You're still going on the funny gauge. You know nothing about selling tickets, and you don't want to know. You barely got a headshot. Yeah. Right. You don't get a headshot till 10 people ask you for one.
Okay, deal.
I'll send you a caricature when I went to court in 87. the guy from the paper drew it. No, I'm just, but that's the problem. I don't like people moving slow in comedy. I didn't have the basics till I was in Boulder in 95. That's why I started getting the basics, but I was attacking Lee. Like, I was like, you got a gig, I'll do it. Gas station, under the gas station. I used to do a gig on Monday nights. I still laugh about it. It was at a bar, and they had a stage. You think they put us there? No. They had a room all the way in the back that had like this molding on the wall that looked like you were, and only sat like 12 people.
Oh, fuck.
And I would go in there and kill on Monday nights, you know, like just in this little fucking room. It was just a set for me. But that was the mentality. You know, when I talk to Jimmy Florentine, he's around the corner from me. I love talking shop to Jimmy because he'll tell me what places around here used to do comedy back then when he started 30 years ago. And one of the places is the same strip club that my buddies own now. That was always a strip club. And he did the open mics there on Monday night, upstairs. They have an upstairs. So he would do the open mics upstairs at this fucking strip club.
I can't wait till I look back at them. But it's like at least at my point, and I'm lucky I get to talk to you and I get to talk to all the people I open for. But I don't know how to I wouldn't know how to make a plan for comedy if it paid me. Like it's such and maybe I'm just nowhere near that point yet, but just I would do any show anywhere. And it's
like, listen, I worked dumb with comedy. I could sit here and lie to you. I didn't start working comedy correctly until I met my wife. It wasn't about 2003, 2004 where she goes, let me see your notebook. And she's like, you got to get rid of this. Why would you do that? You know, I was booking weeks that I shouldn't have been booking. I had the Comedy Store. I could do 5 sets on that at the Comedy Store. But 5 sets at the Comedy Store is what? Fucking $75.
Right.
You know, maybe she gives you a main room spot. You got to sell something. I would sell a couple 8 balls back then just to make ends meet or do a Mexican room. And it didn't really start clicking for me. You know, on January 1st, you got to go listen. At that level, when I was in LA, I would put I got to book a guest star, 5 co-stars, a short film, and 3 commercials. That was the acting side. And then on the stand-up side, it was always, I want to add 20 minutes and I want to get funnier. It was never about being the funniest guy. I just focused on being funny. Those were the goals. You're looking at your weekly goals, your monthly goals, and your quarterly goals, how you want to choose a quarter, 3 or 4 months. That's your preference. Okay? And that's what you look at. And then at the end of that, you go, where am I going to be a year from now? Just a year from now. Right. Where do I want to be? And what things do I need to do to get there in a year? I need to do 400 spots. I need to take a cold reading workshop to help my stand-up. I need to do, a couple seminars. Because, around here, they're all cheap. The same seminars you get in Boston and New York. Well, Boston, Jersey are a lot cheaper than you'd pay in New York.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
And you're always going to get one thing from somebody. My daughter went to basketball camp last week. And I told her, I said, listen, I don't know what you're thinking, but I know from experience, if you get one thing in those 5 days, just one thing and work on those 5 things, that thing.
For those 5 days, yeah.
Yeah, it was worth me sending you there, and it was worth it for you.
Rather than going expecting to be like the best basketball player?
No, that's why I really enjoyed what you did 2 weeks ago. You did a weekend, and then you went right into a week. Okay?
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I know for a fact that you improved just a little bit. I know that. Not because I was watching you, not because people were telling me, but because I know how those weeks work. And what happens is you do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday you have off and you're tired. And then Monday you're like, I don't know if I want to do comedy on a fucking Monday. And you go down there and you have a great time, whether you bomb or whether you fucking, kill it. You have a great time, and that gives you motivation for the week. So you put 2 weeks. Let me tell you something. I used to do those triple runs for a month.
Damn. Like every night, 7 nights a week?
No. Not even. It was some weeks were Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
Some weeks were Wednesday through Saturday. Some weeks had a Sunday. And I would take those for a month and come back twice to see my daughter. That's it.
Stop there. Okay.
I would come back on Sunday, stay till fucking Wednesday or Tuesday, see her, and then get back in the car and leave again. And I would do a 2-weeker. And you do that for a month. I mean, you're there every day, Lee. You're in your room. You're in your car. When you have nothing else, you're going to focus on comedy. It's like when guys go to prison. They got one thing to focus on, fucking weights. They come out looking like Lou Ferrigno before the operation because that's all they did in there. They stuck to their carbs. You only get 100 carbs a day. I don't know. I'm just saying, everybody's like, whoa, they get so ripped. Yeah, because it's like being in fucking solitaire. You're not picking all day.
Right.
You're not
No.
eating potato chips on the corner. You're not getting a sandwich with Nino. You're not eating a half burrito with your buddy at 5 before you have dinner. So when you only have one thing to work on, the fucking the gains are going to be tremendous. You might not see them immediately, but you'll see them 6 weeks from now when somebody calls you and says the headliner is running late. You got to do fucking 10 more extra minutes. And there you are. Good to see you, brother. And there you are, stuck. And in your mind, you collapse. But then muscle memory takes over. And
right.
There's a lady with an orange hat. Ooh, you just got 3 minutes off you. Ooh.
See, I don't do that enough.
You get to talk about that lady's orange hat.
Yeah.
Like when somebody in a UFC fight, when somebody gets punched 3 or 4 times and they grab your legs and clinch to regain, like they're hearing birds and Chinese music and the room is tilting and shit.
Holy shit. But that's
your oxygen. That's why I always loved jujitsu and comedy, because when you're in a closed guard, that's your home. That's the safest you're going to be. I have his arms. My legs are around his body. This gives me a chance to fucking breathe and think of my next move or how I'm going to bait him.
And so you feel more like that doing like crowd work than you do material?
No, this is all. Listen, you go up there with a 40-minute set that you have planned out, correct?
Okay.
And then they call. No, you have a 30-minute set. You have a 25-minute set.
As a feature, yeah.
As a feature. You've been doing 28. If they pull you out of Boston, you're down to 20, And all of a sudden, you're on stage. You've already done your rain material. You've done your fucking, they didn't tell you this before you went up.
Right, no.
They're going to send you a note to the stage and go, the headline is running late. Stretch it out, bitch.
Fuck.
And now you're going to be forced things that's how you improve. And that's where you see the improvement. And that's when you know what your next move is. That's why your priorities should change with comedy every 90 days. You're focusing on something else. This month, I'm going to focus on this joke and this bit and where to put it. And every month, you have a mission. Every week, you have a mission.
Fuck. Yeah, that's crazy to think about. All I've thought about up until this point is like just trying to write jokes and be funnier.
And that's what you should be thinking about at this level.
Okay.
That's it. Everything else, as you're doing this, you're learning. Listen, man. We were talking about something in Austin about somebody who went to Montreal and did very well. And they gave him the world. And one day he just iced himself. And he had a pretty good movie career going. His There was a particular director that fell in love with him, you know, and was giving him movies, but what he wanted to do, they didn't want him to do, you know. And it's really weird because I always think of him when people get a quick push, how they're going to handle it. You know, they're either going to excel, and then you got to give them rope again, because how they're going to deal now that they got 10 million? How are they going to treat other people? Are they still going to come to the Comedy Store and do sets? You know, it's very interesting to see all those things also.
And then, like,
I want everybody to be ready before they get hit with a ton of bricks. That's what my point is here in this right. Comedy career. There's two fucking careers in comedy. There's that fucking around one when you got your friends and you're all comparing shit, and then you move up a little bit, and then you move up a little bit, and then guess what? It gets fucking real. And now every time you go on stage, like I told you, every time I go to the store and I'd bomb, I'd walk to the car going, this is the last time I'm going to see this building.
But I feel that way every time I go on stage. But I do see.
It's fucking nerve-wracking.
Oh, it's hard.
That alone, that thinking in your mind, that eats at you.
Yeah.
It eats at you. And you know, all these things, I want you to, when you walk, listen, you know, I don't even know how I was prepared for Mitchie Shaw. Till this day, I sit there and I'm like, how did I pass that audition? That audition was scary enough. If you want me to sit here and go, oh no, I just walked in there. Dog, you're shitting your pants. You got a bead of piss that's about to come out of your turtleneck. I had to wrap my uncircumcised dick with a bread tie. You know, I got a piece of shit in my ass. My stomach is rumbling. You right. don't want to have a cocktail because you might forget your material. You don't want to smoke pot because you might forget your material. It's 1,000 things. You're going up in front of your future, whatever you think it is. So what if you go, yeah, I'm going to be a Comedy Store guy. You walk in there and she goes, nah, you got to go home and come up with plan B. Now what do we got?
I can't even imagine that.
Find out what her feedback is. Were you just god awful? Or, you know, does she think you got to come back in 6 months? Then 6 months, well, Lee works there and I fucking run circles around him. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You do what the fuck you want to do now. She gave you 6 months. You show up in 9 months, you blow her fucking wig off, and now you're a regular. But what if she would have told me no?
Right. I don't know how you would deal with that.
I don't know. I would have had to go to the Laugh Factory the next day. You know, remember, I got to LA on a Monday. Next Tuesday, I went to the Laugh Factory, waited all day, had a great set, and the guy's like, it's never going to work for you in LA. Jamie Masada, who, once I got the podcast, he was calling me every week, buddy, what are you doing? And I love Jamie, you know, I'm not, but it's really weird. And you have to take that and learn how to move forward. A lot of people can't take 3 of those punches to the head and not move forward. No Comedy Store, they can't get an agent. The girlfriend dumped you for an actor. That's enough right there.
Didn't Ari get turned down? Like, not turned down, but like, didn't he have to audition like 18 times or something?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, what do you think that did to it? Because now he's doing theaters and killing it.
Listen, man, when you get into comedy, it's not about the money or it's the longevity of what, you know, you have to, you sell a piece of your soul. You sell a piece of yourself. Now I'm giving the right to these people to call me every day and pitch ideas at me. Now you don't get popularity, you lose pieces of yourself.
Why?
And everybody can handle that because everybody wants a piece of you, Lee. The agents want a piece of you. The managers come out of the woodwork. The same people you talked to 10 years ago and told you to try ballet. Now they call you up and like, what are we going to need to do here? We've known each other for 20 years. Why did you not sign with me? He told me to try tennis 10 years ago,
Fuck.
So that takes that itself, all that, because now you're going from, I want you guys to know comedy 100% in and out before you start getting hit in the head with bricks. I am your protective uncle and your protective father. Because that's like becoming a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. 50% of people quit right off the bat.
Really? You think when it starts to go well?
I saw, I could, if I got a notebook and I wanted to be a dick and embarrass people, I saw 10 comics who lasted a month in LA.
Wow.
And next thing you know, they were gone.
Were they doing anything in LA?
They were starting to, but it wasn't home. It wasn't home. You're in AAA ball. You're the star. You're hitting home runs. People want to jump up and down with you. Now you're in Major League Ball. Nobody knows who the fuck you are. You're carrying towels. You're fucking bringing waters. You're calling people mister. It's the same, it's the same fucking concept, man.
Damn.
So being a king in your town, headlining, people coming up to you. Now you get to LA, it's college football. You were a big high school star, go to Division I. You're 6'6". Guess what? There's 20 motherfuckers like that now. And they all run the 40 faster than you, bitch. You're like, and you get there and these guys are jumping. Here you thought you were Johnny Atlas.
Right.
Your high school program made you believe you were Johnny Atlas. And you bought it. You ever see that movie with Clint Eastwood and Justin Timberlake and Amy Adams?
Oh.
He plays a scout.
Right.
And the kid is like, they're blowing smoke up his ass. The father's walking out of there like, he's not doing nothing for $10,000, Who's this dumb motherfucker trying to hit me now? See, these are the people that piss you off. They don't bother you all day. Then they want to bother you when you're on the fucking podcast. So, he gets to the Atlanta Braves. The Mexicans throwing heat at him, Santiago, whatever his fucking name was.
Right.
And the kid melts. Because he's been getting blown smoke of his ass for fucking 4 years. That gentle of a mind cannot take that. Your mind cannot take that at that age. Not too many people could run with the punches with that. That's a rough fucking move. So same thing happens with comedy. You just went up to Montreal and people laughed and shook your head. Then you stumble into the Comedy Store and you got to follow Bill Burr. After he followed Theo Von and he followed Lucy Liu and fucking she followed Whitney Cummings and on and on and on and on. Somebody saw you in a club in New York and decided to test you up in Montreal again, put you in Montreal where people are dying to find a new face. Oh my God, he's 28. He's so witty. Comedy Central gives him a deal, and then he stumbles into the fucking store with ego.
Right.
And ba-boom. Ba-boom. You see them. I saw it 1,000 times. That's tough, that rejection.
When you're used to doing so well.
Yeah, 3 years from now, you're touring and you go to a club and he shows up. Hey, what happened to you? Oh, my grandmother, she lost her toe with diabetes and I had to move back. I get it, brother. I'm still headlining. I do this. I do cruises part-time. Yeah, that was too much. And there's nothing wrong with accepting that. Now, without further delay, I gotta talk to these people about DraftKings. So give me 2 minutes, all right? I'll be back.